really kind of contending for that, and I it was connected for me to just the abundance of college campuses, and that the Lord would use those campuses and use ministries to capture the hearts of young adults. They would fall in love with Jesus, and then like an oak tree whose branches are spread out all over the nation and through the world. That these acorns or whatever would drop all over the place. Um, and so I just continue to pray that and believe that's happening. I mean, what I'm hearing from Feast and Feast and from Ignite Movement and some of these other things is, I believe, some of the answers to those prayers and what the Lord was showing me. And I mean, also I just over the years, we've been praying for a long time. I mean, yeah, I've been kind of involved in it before we knew what the prayer movement was, since like 2007, and my mom even longer than that. You know, just overnight prayer meetings and stuff like that. And just as we've gone on, just it's been a blessing to see just different like annual gatherings where different churches will come together and pray. Like the prayer they do at Memorial Auditorium, or stuff like Feast and Feast, or just these different prayer and worship gatherings that are happening. And I believe the Lord is moving us in some shape or some form to a house of prayer in this area, where it'll start to develop. It'll come from just these annual or events to becoming a sustained expression of prayer and worship. I don't know how it'll look and how it'll happen. We've been faithful with it for seasons at a time as the Lord allowed us to do it where we're at in Garner. But I believe it's coming, and just continuing to pray into that. And there's so much about North Carolina. There's so much about this area. I mean, from, like I said, just in the Triangle, all the college campuses, from the Dukes and UNCs that are nationally known, and NC State, to the HBCUs and the history there with Shaw University and North Carolina Central and St. Augustine's. There's just so much there, I believe, and I think the Lord is going to move as well through the poor in this area, and being us, really taking time to serve and invest in the poor, and seeing them lifted up. And I think as well, just the business and entrepreneurship is a thing, and the creatives. And there's so many just notable musicians, at least, that come from North Carolina. As if you just look back in music history, was kind of one of my things in college. So, I think about Coltrane, Roberta Flack, Nina Simone, and just some of these others. And I believe the Lord is just going to use North Carolina in the arts in some way as well, with musicians that are fully and completely devoted to Jesus Christ, and just they're brought up in prayer and rooted in the Word, and the sound that comes out of them comes from that place. And I really believe it'll be something that will just result in instant deliverance for people and salvation, and these different things. So there's so much we can talk about and get into, and I just believe that it's happening, and that's the Lord just from time to time will just kind of allow me to step back and look and see what's going on here and there, and it'll just stir me with encouragement to continue to pray, and right in Garner, in the backyard of Raleigh or whatever, and just keep praying, and it's happening, and the Lord is doing it, and there are others that are praying. It's a blessing just over the years to get to meet people with like minds, and the Lord is just knitting us together and putting us in the same place, and I believe it's all for there's a reason for it. So